videos, not just of your own game, but also of opposition. How has your time with the Springboks been? How have you grown as a player since joining them and training with them and just getting that kind of...
Yeah, hello Anami. Yeah, it's only been a week, but an awesome week. We have learned a lot. We've got awesome players in the squad that I can also learn a lot from. So for me, it's a perfect scenario. We've got good coaches here, we've got good players, and also players that's keen to almost give advice and knowledge over to us newer ones. So it's awesome. Yeah, it's been a good week and a good week of learning.
You've been lots of new players coming into the squad setup, a lot of youngsters, a lot of uncapped players. How's it been acclimatizing some of the new faces to the things that, the way the Springboks want to play?
Yes, it's fantastic having the young players into the squad, mixing up with more elder players, more experienced players. I think there's good alignment since from our alignment camps and then the progression into this camp. A good understanding in terms of what is expected of everyone, a good understanding that we do things together, so we learn from each other. And yeah, it was good to see the energy and the enthusiasm and how the players relate to each other and work together to get things done this couple of last week. And we're looking forward to this week to continue with that as we build up into Saturday's games.
Coach Stuart, just on the decision to keep preparing here and not moving to PE, and then just the logistics behind being coach of two teams in the same week.
Yeah, I think we actually have settled in our camp this week here in Johannesburg. We're quite comfortable with the surroundings in terms of where we train, and we found it fit to finish all our training here up until Wednesday and then to leave for Port Elizabeth, where we just then obviously go into our captain's run and then into our game. So I think from that perspective, with the numbers also that we have two teams, it is the best thing to finish our preparation here. Yeah, and then obviously in terms of doubling up between two teams, obviously we try to keep things aligned in terms of our plans and the way we want to execute things, and that has been our approach in terms of whatever we've done in the different departments, and especially also from a line-out perspective also, so that we can apply those things that we want this year in terms of setting our standards and in terms of the plans that we are working on. But yeah, the players obviously, with the good students that they are and the way they learn from each other, and the way we've simulated certain stuff to get to what we want, I think it worked well, and I think we're on the right track.
Good morning. The off players this year, especially the forwards, have seemingly been through a casualty list in terms of injuries, one recovers, one gets injured. Just walk us through how have you guys managed that in particular this year?
Yeah, obviously it's not the perfect scenario, especially when you, in my department, when you lose so much locks and players that gets injured. But in this environment, it's very important to adapt. We've learned over the years that we've got so many quality players in the country. Yes, it's sad when a good quality player gets injured and he's not ready to compete. But we saw also in the SA under 21s with the talent on the 20s, the talent that are available in the country, and it's a good time for these players also to get exposure and an opportunity to compete at this level. So yeah, if the news broke that a player is injured, you think about who's possible the next one, and I can clearly say that the way the guys have slotted in filling that positions, how, as I said previously, how the senior players assisted the guys coming in, I think we've adapted well, and we're looking forward to see how these young players can sort of make the step up and impose themselves on this opposition at this level.
Dion, just on the 20 players that have joined the Springbok camp over the last week or so, just talk to us about the level that they are at. How far is their level to the seasoned competitors in the Springbok squad? How far are they from getting that opportunity and fitting into the Springbok setup? And just for Paul as well, how different has the level been in this week of training from what you probably used to at the Stormers?
I think the SA Under-20s, the coaches at the SA Under-20s and the whole system that they drive there is very good. I think when the players step in my opinion, yes, obviously there will be one or two things that we can improve on, but I think they arrived here in good shape with a good willingness to be coached and to learn from each other. I think their fundamentals is in place. Obviously, we do things here and there but differently, but they've adapted quite quickly, and I think this week is another opportunity for them to improve on last week, and I think they will be in a good position to do their job on Saturday.
Oh, sorry, can I answer the question? No, for me, the question was the difference between Stormers and here. I think training standards is a massive thing, and you compete against the guys that's also Springboks and guys want to be here. So I think that just lifts the intensity of a normal training session to another level. And you would suppose that it is a senior environment, it is a national team, so the training standards and what they expect of us is probably a bit higher. But like I said earlier to your question as well, we're learning a lot, and I think we're sitting here, the coaches selected this squad because of what we did for our franchises and for our clubs back home. They would just expect us to do the same and even work harder.
Awesome. So we had an opportunity to hear from Dr. Rassie Erasmus recently, and he spoke of potentially players being rested. I did hear a name such as Damian Diallo being mentioned. So my question is, with regards to the Japan sort of league, we always, as an outside fan, you always understood that the first game is obviously the Japan-based players, guys who haven't played in a while. When you hear, has there been sort of a change in the intensity, or is it maybe players that have played deep into playoffs in Japan that maybe have had more of a workload than they usually would have in a normal regular season?
I think Coach Rasmus was very clear in terms of the players that's going to be rested or players that are not available and the reasons for that. Obviously, the coaches or the medical staff and conditioning staff have assessed the players' workload over in their season in terms of their clubs and where they are, and also take into consideration the season that lies ahead. And I think with that in mind, obviously decisions were made in terms of what's going to be the best for the players, because player well-being is very important for us. What's going to be the best interest for the players at this stage as we head into the season. And I think you've explained it well, and nothing has changed from that since his last interview.
Coach Dion, you've been with this team for almost, I think, 10 years now. If you could just have a mention on working with, and how excited you are with working with the next generation of players that are coming through now. You've got to work with an SA team. Some of them will probably be playing for the Springboks against the Barbarians. Just your thoughts on that. And then Paul, just on Bilokwagga scarletly injured, how do you look at stepping up in that role, playing a similar role for the Boks the weekend, or should you get that opportunity?
Yeah, just for me, it always stays a massive privilege to be part of this team. And I don't think it's something that you can take for granted, irrespective of how many years you are part of this. When you're part of a bigger picture, you represent your country. You've got to stay humble. You've got to focus on the role that you have to play in the squad to make things happen. And with that in mind, it just stays a privilege to have the opportunity to work with world-class players or a lot of talent coming in from different franchises, different backgrounds, the diverse group that we are, to coach them. So it's a privilege to coach them, but it's also a privilege to learn so much about different individuals and about the country, and also to learn from them in terms of, listen, what with the new generation coming in, how do they differ from the more experienced guys, and how can we ensure over the next couple of years, if given the opportunity, to ensure that we keep the consistency and that we keep getting better. So at this stage, it's just wonderful to have the privilege of working with the spectrum of so many talented players coming into the squad.
Yeah, if I get an opportunity this weekend, it will be awesome in either team. I think for now my focus isn't on taking someone else's role. My focus is purely on, again, I'm sitting here because coaches saw what I did at our unions. As a squad, we're sitting here, we got selected on what we did for our teams back home. So the main focus for me will only be to keep on doing that, maybe just keep on working hard on that stuff that I do for the Stormers as well.
Paul, you speak about stuff that you did at GD. It was quite a season for you. Can you just talk us through just how you felt it was on a personal level, and before the season, did you have any ambitions to be sitting there wearing the green and gold?
I think we all have that ambition. At the start of the season, I think the main goal was just to be on the field more regularly, and as a team, we did pretty well. I've said it before, but playing in a good team and playing in a team that wins and go forward, it's easier for the individual to also do well. So yeah, I've learned a lot in this season. I'm very grateful for this past season with the Stormers, and because I believe because we did well as a team, it gave chance for the individuals to shine as well.
Thank you, Suzanne. Suzanne, this is one English question. Good morning. Good afternoon, colleagues. Can I ask you, Jim? I'm asking because obvious question. The absence of Bulls players in the squad, I'm sure that had an impact on selection. The players you've called up and that is currently in the squad. Are you guys excited with what the Bulls are going to do this weekend in Ireland? And maybe just an idea of why exactly Andre Smith was called up, because last week you had Ruben van Heaven as a replacement for Solomon Murat. Why was Andre also called up to the squad? And maybe just for you, you mentioned, so unclear on where and which side which team you're going to play. Does it matter for you? Are you excited to be part of this national side?
Good afternoon, Percy. Yes, just to come to your, I've missed the first section of your question.
No, are you guys excited to see what the Bulls and the absence of
Oh,
Bulls players could have an impact on selection?
No, definitely. I mean, we're very excited that the Bulls have gone through to the final. Obviously, we would have wanted two South African teams in that final. Obviously, that was some things that scenarios that we've looked at before it could happen, preparing for a team with both teams in the final, or the Stormers in or either the Bulls in, and making our plans in terms of players available and the selections that we need to do. So obviously that played a role. The reason for Adri's coming into the squad, I also want to say before I go there, just we wish the Bulls all the best, and I mean the whole team, irrespective of what are behind him, and I think the whole South Africa is behind him, and we know they will make us proud going into that. The reason for Adri coming into the team is that if we look at the lock depth within the team, we know that Ruben is a player that have the ability to make good calls within the team. So with the absence of guys like Luit and all of those guys that are injured, he fulfilled a good role there. He showed that he can do it at the Stormers. Obviously, Adri is more of a four-lock that brings that grunt to the team in terms of his physicality and what he showed when he played for the Stormers, and also having him with Ruben, and then also a guy like Vincent Zatuka that have played there before available. They can make up, ensure that if we do get injuries or whatever happened in the game, we've got enough backing in that position to fulfill either the 4 or the 5 role within the team. And obviously we've done the same with the other locks, looking at lock combinations when you think about the guys that are available.
Yeah, Percy, super excited. Whether it's playing against Barbarians or playing against Zimbabwe, just super excited to get on the field and hopefully do well in system and contribute. They motivate us to do our best. They create the platform for us to really express ourselves and play towards our talents. So yeah, hopefully just be on the field and give my best in system and contribute where I can.
Lovely. Guys, bloggers off, please. And then you can go.
Can I just ask a question? Coach, I know as a national team, you guys want to focus on yourselves as the Springboks, as the SA side. We know the Barbarians, they come here every now and then. What do we know about Zimbabwe? It's not necessarily the so-called top tier nations. What do you guys know about Zimbabwe? Is there pressure for a force like SA Rugby to work with Zimbabwe and play a match against our neighbours?
I think Zimbabwe is a well-structured team. If you look at the different games that they've played, We must also remember, if you look back at the history, Zimbabwe always had this ability to deliver quality players that had become quality Springboks in the past. If you look at the selection now, they've got a guy like, I think Gary Porter, that played for the Stormers, that's going to be part of them. They've got a guy like Mafasera, which I watched from UWC and now playing at the Sharks, which I think is a quality player. And I think if you look at the quality, you also look at their coaching staff. I think they've got in a lot of quality assistants, guys like Gert Spau have been part of the squad for a while, which I think will bring a lot of structure to their forward play and what they want to achieve there. They had a guy like Kennedy Chimba, which was a quality player in the Frenches that was also, I think, involved at some stage at the team. So together with the head coaches and what they tried to achieve, and obviously the fact that they've qualified now to play in the World Cup, I think they will be a very, very good challenge for our SAA team in terms of gaining experience and playing at a different level. And I also think for Zimbabwe, preparing against the Springboks or the SAA team and at this level gives them good quality preparation. So I think it works both ways, and we're really excited to see us compete against them.
Paul, just in terms of your formative years, when you're still learning the game, were there any sort of international flankers that inspired you, that you modeled your game on?
Yeah, it's hard to single out, I think, a singular guy, but I kind of formed into a kind of fetcher role. So that's hopefully not the only thing that I contribute. That's the way I feel. But I've learned a lot through watching a lot of guys, but mostly at the breakdown, I think. To single out guys now would be hard for me, but yeah, I've learned a lot and I'm still learning. Having guys like Sia and Siba and guys learning, Emmanuel, Sixers, you learn from them other stuff. You can I've got something that I bring to the table, but then Sia adds something and I can learn from Sia in a different way. So it's very good to be here and to learn from different guys.
Were you too young to watch a guy called Heinrich Crusoe? Because I remember him and he reminds me of you.
No, I wasn't too young. I actually watched a lot of his rugby, and it's kind of the same way we play. So he would be a guy that I looked at. Yeah, so I was a bit younger.
Okay, last one and then
Sorry, but yeah. Just in terms, you got 18 turnovers in the URC, I believe. Now, just thinking, what does that mean to a flanker? Like in cricket, if you're a batsman, you want to hit a six. If you're a soccer player, you want to score a goal. As a flank, getting a turnover, is it that same kind of thrill?
Yeah, I suppose it is. It's part of my job. So I get selected because I bring that to the table, like I said. Not necessarily that's the only thing that I must bring or can bring, but yeah, kind of when I get off the field and I could have contributed in that way, it feels good, yeah.
Dion, there's always been an emphasis, especially post the World Cup, that there needs to be depth building, especially the forward, especially at lock. And do you feel that this is the year when that depth building will be tested, especially when you look at the amount of positions? And you look at the seniority of the players in that position.
Oh, definitely. Very good question. I think that is, remember, part of our strategic thinking. It's always to build squad depth, to transform our game the way we play, and to win every test match. So, with that in mind, obviously, when you get in new players, you get a different player with a different kind of profile that brings something different, and in that way you can be creative and try to expand or to do things differently in the way you play. And obviously also in this year's, in terms of squad depth, it's very important. I mean, anything can happen this year in terms of injuries. And it's important to have a clear understanding position-wise in terms of where do we lie with players that possibly can go through to the World Cup, and if something happens, who will be the second, third, fourth guy in line that we might create opportunities in order to ensure that when something happens, there's enough experience gained in a year like this in order to prepare.
when did the penny drop in terms of your playing career that you belong as a veteran? Because in your time at Oakdale, you were quite a bruisey, loose ball, you ran over people and a lot of things. But at one point in your career, you realized that fetching is where I belong.
I actually can't remember myself running over too many people. But no, like I said, I still don't like to categorize myself only as a fetcher. I like to contribute in different ways. So I wouldn't say that the penny has dropped, that I decided that I only want to be a fetcher now.
Ja.
Leon, ek wil net vra, jy het nou genoem dat Loot beseer is. Ek weet hy het in 1-2 games gespeel in Japan. En nou net vir ons ook sê, wat is die situasie met Marks? Is hy beseer, is hy hier, is hy reg? Gaan hy eers regwees met die Engeland game?
Ek sal verkies dat daai vrae beantwoord word deur die mediese personeel of deur ons hoofafrigter môre as hy die span bekend maak. Natuurlik dink jy verstaan die redes vir dit. Ja, ek dink dit is die beste.
So I need to ask this question of course, but I'm going to ask you English first. Can I ask you, every single year when we play against a match like against Barbados, I always ask this question because I don't have the knowledge. I'm not experienced with my colleagues here. Dion, maybe you can correct me. Do you get a test cap against the Bulgarians?
No, it's not no test caps.
Okay. So Paul, for now, this week, I'm assuming you'll have to carry a blazer over your arm for at least another week at least, or 2 weeks. Are you excited to eventually wear a blazer one day, sir? A Springbok blazer?
I actually don't know how it works, but for me to just get on the field, that's probably the thing I'm most excited for. The other stuff obviously comes after that, but that's not where the focus lies.